man in Alberta has changed his gender for cheaper car insurance rates. And now the government is questioning her self-identification and even misgendering her. Those unbelievable bigots. I hope she takes them to the Human Rights Commission. An Alberta man, identified only as David, wanted to buy a brand new car. But here in Alberta, we have different rates of insurance for men and women based on risk and crash rates and all those other factors and things the insurance industry takes into account before they're setting your yearly premium rates. This meant that poor David would be paying over $4,500 per year to insure the brand new car he wanted to buy if he did it as a man. Now, this isn't that male privilege the left keeps telling me all about. So, poor David had a bit of a brainwave. He changed his gender on paper so that she could now pay $1,100 less per year for car insurance. David said in a Reddit post, "I am now a woman. I now pay $1,100 less for auto insurance. I won. The end." David told the CBC that she didn't change her gender to ridicule trans people. She did it to save a buck. And to that I say, good for her. But really, this is exactly what happens when the government reduces my female biological sex to a momentary feeling, while the insurance industry still uses our old friends' empirical data and statistics to set rates and measure insurance risk. If gender is fluid, and that's what the proponents of gender theory keep telling all of us, then maybe, just maybe, this little lady feels like a woman when she's behind the wheel of that new car that she can finally afford because she is now a woman on paper. And yet, strangely enough, the people questioning her motives and legitimacy are the biggest, loudest proponents of gender fluidity and the biggest proponents of making it easier for people to change their gender based on their momentary feelings. I kid you not. A minister of the Crown here in Alberta, in fact, ironically, the status of women minister, Stephanie McLean, is even accusing this woman of perjury. McLean's accusing her of a crime punishable by jail time for identifying as a female for insurance purposes. It seems to me like McLean is mad that someone reduced my biological sex to a momentary feeling and a piece of paper. So that's weird because I think I agree with her for once. I don't like it when that happens either. But excuse me, Minister McLean, you are misgendering this person and you didn't even ask what their preferred pronouns are, you hate monger. How dare you? You know, I'm pretty sure this minister's own government changed Alberta's human rights legislation to protect gender identity and expression. Stephanie McLean is violating this woman's human rights by questioning her gender identity. Look, I didn't make the rules. Stephanie McLean made the rules. It's time for her to live by the rules she made for everybody else. In fact, earlier this year, McLean's own government made it even easier to change your gender and to even identify as like no gender whatsoever on your official government documents. Now in Alberta, you can identify as male or female or X on your government documents simply by visiting your local registry office and requesting the change, filling out the applicable documents, and paying $22. Bam, done. You're whatever you want to be. There are no doctors involved outside of getting a note, like a sick note. No standards, no requirement to live or dress as the gender you want to be. There's no real anything. It's simply based on how you feel at that moment. There's no examination of motives either. And that's how the left demanded it to be. Again, they made the rules. I didn't make the rules. And yet today, even the government is impugning this woman's motives. And going back to the matter of unintended consequences, how on earth is the auto insurance industry supposed to measure the business and insurance risk to set the rate for someone who identifies as gender X based on data compiled on biological male and female crash rates? And let me be clear, I don't care how people personally identify. It has absolutely nothing to do with me as long as you don't make it have anything to do with me. I don't care, and I don't want anybody to try to make me care. Like, don't use the government to come after me because I don't use your preferred pronouns. Don't go after our churches because they don't subscribe to your worldview about gender theory. And don't teach tiny little children about sex and gender against their parents' wishes because that is unbelievably weird. That's where my interest in gender fluidity and gender theory begins and ends. You do what you want, I'll do what I want, I'll think my way, you think yours, and let us just leave everybody alone. And if you are smart enough, brilliant enough, to turn the government's ridiculous policies back on them and save a little money at the same time, well, you know what? You're all right by me. For the Rebel.media, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. Hey, have you tried our new Rebel Media mobile app? It's available on the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. Download it, try it out, and take the other side of the story with you wherever you go.